Hey everybody, a quick disclaimer. Recently we switched up how we record our actual play sessions, and in this episode, this was our first attempt at some new tech and setup, and as such, there's some weirdness with the audio and the editing. It's actually less prominent in this episode and more prominent in the next episode, episode 31. Some would question why I'm telling you this at all. There's a good chance you'd never even notice. However, I wanted to have an explanation for those of you who noticed like the longer silences, keyboard and mouse clicking, and the general weird feeling that might be present because of subtle audio and editing differences that weren't there before. But anyway, the issue is fixed now. It sounds much better by episode 32, so disclaimer over. Now on with the show. You're listening to the Complex Action Actual Play podcast. It's time to head into the storm to collect the magical reagents that this mana warp is leaving in its wake. The team helps out where they can and hopefully keeps the ship on course. Now please enjoy episode 30, The Calm Before. Okay, well, last we left off, you guys had just met your new, well, sort of like your Johnson, but, you know, I guess we could call it prospective team member, Wada. She's sort of a talkie adept, and an Oni at that. And
she's colorful.
She's quite colorful. And in personality and literally. She joined you guys and offered you guys a job to help a local high-end talismonger smuggle some stuff up from Charleston back to Columbia. She not only was offering you money for the job, but she said once you completed the job, she had some information about Haley and her disappearance that you guys might be interested in. But you guys eventually accepted it. And you got to fly, Payday got to fly an amphibious aircraft down to Charleston to meet the person who was supposed to hook you up with the cargo to drive back in a van up to Columbia. But once you got there, it wasn't quite as simple as that, as if it ever is. You were told that the magical items and reagents and all that kind of stuff that you were supposed to send back, they hadn't quite gotten yet because they were supposed to dredge it up from the ocean. It was supposed to be coming up from the ocean. There was a storm that was coming through that was actually being exacerbated by a mana warp that was moving along the ocean and slowly coming up to the surface. And as it was coming up to the surface, it was creating more magical mana storms, and that was combining with an already a more mundane storm in the area, and it was just making really bad conditions. They couldn't get out there, but they can't wait any longer. They have to go out there and get it, and they needed your guys' help to go do it. They offered you way more money to help them go do it, and that's what you guys are on your way to do now. You just got onto this big converted fishing boat that is captained by Captain Calabash, a dwarven sea captain.
He's pretty great.
Yeah. He warned you guys about the magical hijinks that might happen in a mana storm, up to and including the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, which he had a run-in with in the past.
He's even saltier than Payday is.
I believe it took his hand, didn't it?
Oh yeah. Abraham Lincoln was seeking revenge for the crimes that were committed during the Civil War, and Captain Calabash got in the way, and he paid the price with his hand.
Well, Elric's going to go ahead and take a dose of Psyche and also pop some Zen.
Just gonna,
of course, Elric never one to shy away from drugs lately.
Gonna go ahead and take another pull off my glass, tighten my giant liquor bottle that I stole. Tighten up my, the hell is it, life preserver, and look around for any other safety gear that there might be.
Captain Calabash, I'm sure, sees you looking around, and he says, "What are you doing? What are you looking for there? What's your name?"
Without turning around, I'll just kind of, Leroy, you got some air tanks or some other safety materials?
Safety. Yeah, we got
Yeah,
safety
safety.
gear. It's the law.
So, no scuba.
We got life raft. We got you
All
got
right, where's that at?
that's back over here. It's somewhere below deck. You know, I haven't really unpacked it.
All right, I'll go find it.
You have at it. What are you, some kind of landlubber? You haven't got your sea legs?
I just
Throw
give
back.
him that death stare as I stomp downstairs.
Yeah, Throwback kind of perks up to that. Says, "Yeah, I better go with them, and then we'll follow Leroy to look for the safety equipment."
And once I feel the drugs kicking in and the ability to concentrate in a more detached manner, I'm going to conjure up a Force 6 Spirit of Air. I'm going to go with the optional powers of Psychokinesis and Guard.
I got 2 hits.
Alright, I got 4 surfaces.
Any drain?
Wait, did you say 2 hits?
Yeah, I got 2 hits.
Oh, I got 3 surfaces then. And good for drain, just barely. Alright, I'm gonna walk up to Payday.
It's times like this that I wish I still smoked.
I'm gonna put my goggles on, don my helmet, strap the respirator across my face. Alright, situations like this, high background count. Magicians like me are not just of limited use, but possibly even a liability. I got a little bit of a plan, something that should give me an edge, even if I do end up having to deal with the direct background count of the storm. But it's a little dangerous.
So if you turn into a zombie, I get party girl to let you up. That's what you're saying?
No, I was not gonna become a zombie. Zombies are like ritual magic that you get from like Cuba, and we're not really from there, and I don't think we have time for that.
Well, I figure anything can happen out there, but that's not what I expect.
All right,
I'm
scratch the zombie thing then.
gonna try something here, and if I go unconscious, just hit me with a stim patch, okay?
Oh, you can do magic.
I press my hands together and concentrate, and I begin to draw in power. Pulling up to the point where I normally go as a barrier, and I bring out some reagents and form a little circle around me to help filter it, to reduce the chance of any actual physical damage from it. And I'm then going to reach through and draw as much as I possibly can, right to the very edge of my capabilities, and cast a Force 12 Levitate spell on myself.
Yo, look at the balls on this guy.
You're in luck. As you're getting closer, the background count right now is relatively low. It's only a 1 right now.
Alright, I have plenty of hits on the test, and now for the drain.
The return of Stretch, the Overcaster.
Okay, not bad. I used an edge, and I resisted 9 of the 10 drain.
Not bad, I'd say so. You get 1 stun from a Force 12 levitate. That's good under no background count conditions.
Yeah, certainly. So then I'm going to throw down a Force 12 Magic Fingers on myself. Again, using 6 reagents. That's 6 hits on the spell itself. Alright, and I take 3 drain after using an edge. So I look a bit tired. Okay,
Well.
that wasn't as hard as I expected.
One of the other crewmen that is on the boat, he's been walking around with a little device in his hand, and he's been watching it and taking like readings and jotting stuff down and talking to through like a communication device to the dwarf that is rigged in and piloting the boat. He sees Elric doing his thing, and he says, "Well, yes, we haven't gotten, we've just barely broken the edge of the Mana Storm, so things are going to be relatively simple now, but it will get worse."
There's just a loud crashing as something is moved very roughly downstairs.
I'm going to request the Air Spirit apply its movement power to me,
Absolutely.
and I will go ahead and shift my attention to astrally perceive. I'm going to try to keep an eye on this storm so that hopefully I can avoid being in too much of it. I've got these Force 12 spells that I cast, and I'm hoping they'll hold up and not get wrecked by the background count and keep me from drowning, and give me something to be able to do and be effective.
Well, when you shift into astral perception, it's Elrix has read about this stuff before, but seeing it is another thing. It's a sight to behold. It's like a storm that you would see in the mundane world, as you look deep into a very dark, turbulent storm, but much more magnificent with swirling, colorful energies of magic all around, and as you look into the direction that you're going in this fishing boat, it's getting more and more intense, and it's a little ways off, and your guys are heading right into it, but you can see that it's getting worse and worse with intensity of magical energies just swirling and flying.
Do we recognize that device that guy's walking around? Is he like speaking into it?
If you have any kind of knowledge skills that would help you to know what magical kind of devices are, you might.
I have a knowledge skill in technology with specialization in cyberdex. It's not like magical devices, but just tech in general.
Sure, roll it.
Holy cow. Let me see how many of those I can keep.
You're a decker. You can probably keep all of those.
I can keep 8 hits.
Holy cow. I set... Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I literally almost bought one of these once.
Yeah, you read about this in some kind of, a cross-promotional article in Wired magazine or something. It's and it interested you at the time, I guess, but it's an astral, or what are they called? A magical compass.
Mana compass.
Mana compass. That's what I was looking for. Yes, it's a mana compass that he's using.
Yeah. So whenever just in the chaos of just kind of getting situated, anytime Throwback happens to run into that guy, I'm just gonna interrupt whatever he's saying and be like, "Oh my gosh, is that a mana compass?"
Yes, indeed it is. You're familiar? Are you, no, you're not the,
But that is cool.
Yes.
Can I see it?
Well, it's a sensitive piece of equipment. I'd prefer, I'm actively using it, especially as the storm is getting more intense here. It's trying to direct us up to the edge of this storm and keep ahead of and outside of the approaching mana swell that's coming up through the water. But yes, this is exactly how I'm able to do it. You see the needle here, it directs us into the most intense areas of magical energy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna nodding along, listening to anything he has to say. If he angles the screen towards me at all, can I see kind of distances, how close we are to the epicenter or anything like that?
Nope, it's really less of a electronic device and more of it's almost like a traditional compass. It's just somehow, and he explains all this to you. It's magically sort of attuned to magical energies, and it's sensitive to all of it, and it's like a traditional compass, but this particular one looks it's styled like an old nautical compass,
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, Throwback's just enjoying that then, probably using him as a distraction for oh my god, we're sailing to our deaths.
How about you stop talking to Throwback and keep navigating us with your compassy navigating?
It's fine, we're going this way. Throwback just points in the direction the ship is going. He's pretty much lined up. We're good.
I can't find the boat.
We're on it. We're on it right now.
Elric's gonna walk up to Captain Calabash and say, "What is the velocity of this vessel?"
He tells you some nautical velocity in terms of nautical miles that your GM doesn't understand.
I ask Payback to convert that figure into meters per 3-second intervals of time.
You're gonna make me look this up?
It might be important.
All right, let me look it up.
Are you concerned about levitating and then being left behind?
Yes.
I think he might also be concerned about accidentally creating a sonic boom.
Well, it's just a matter of if you jump on an elevator, does it leave you behind? But in this case, it's levitating.
You actually have the speed of the boat.
I mean, I have the boat, and I guess I could look up its speed if somebody has the conversion table. I'm going to have to go between two books.
I have the movement rate chart if you give me the actual speed attribute.
It's a speed of 3.
It's between 20 is its walking rate and 40 meters per turn is its running rate.
Okay, so with a Force 12 levitate and a Force 6 spirit using movement, I move faster than the boat if I need to. So good to know.
Show off.
He just wanted to
Making up
brag.
Math.
I just need to know that if I go flying off the boat, I'm not going to get left behind. It's kind of important to understand.
I found some rope. Do you want to tie yourself to one of these railings?
I mean,
Oh, no.
theoretically, it doesn't matter all that much, right? Because you could just fly back to not being in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that'll go swimmingly over Mana Storm.
I see what you did there.
Been waiting 2 weeks for that.
So yeah, I'm going to refrain from doing any fancy aerial maneuvers at the moment and just stay on the boat. Just knowing in the knowledge that that's a really great language there. Just secure in the knowledge that I have a means to prevent myself from drowning.
All right, well,
And I will watch the storm carefully with my astral sight.
And Payday's feeling ever more vulnerable, just realizing the only backup that he's got here is Party Girl, and he's out here on the open on a ship.
Just imagine when the winds kick up and she has trouble flying, or when you jump into her and we hit a giant swell and your unconscious meat body goes flopping into the ocean.
Yeah, do you want to tie yourself to a railing? I feel like we should all tie ourselves to a railing.
Nah, this is gonna be fun. The
You look
ocean is
really
awesome.
calm right now.
Yeah, it's actually really great.
It's making me really nervous.
If the boat goes down, I'd rather not get dragged down with it.
You think there are any whales out here? Wait, are we on a lake? I can't remember now.
Are there normally whales where you're from?
Yeah, there used to be.
It's the ocean, so there's probably whales around somewhere.
Yes.
all right. Well,
Starting to
as you guys are going out and things are picking up, you've got the crew. It's a small crew of just a handful of people, 3 or 4 people. They're working very hard on the crane on this Kingfisher fishing boat. It's the crane is, it's like if you've ever seen like a crab boat or something like that drops big like crab pots, caged things down into the water to pull up stuff. It's doing that and dredging up. Dredging's not the right word, but like trawling up magical reagents. They collect water because the magical navigator is keeping them kind of over top of, but just out of reach of this mana swell that you guys are tracking, and to remind you, it's slowly coming up. So eventually, this mana warp, or they keep calling it a mana swell, is going to come out of the water and then theoretically dissipate. But everything's getting more and more intense. They're going into the storm and whatnot, and things are getting really, really starting to get violent, and the ship is reeling, and the crew is fighting to stay up, and someone at one point somebody gets hit by a swinging by when the crane comes up and swings and hits them. And does anybody have like first aid?
A little bit.
I have a med kit.
Yeah, so at some point somebody gets hit, and you'll hear somebody say, screaming and say, Does anybody, this man needs some medical attention. Somebody's running out and grabbing, trying to scramble to get a first aid kit out of somewhere below deck. And
I go flying up there and start digging out I carry a big old backpack that essentially is my med kit.
when you fly up there, are you doing this like superhero or like God style,
I'm flying a little, maybe a meter or two above the boat, so that I'm not getting, slowed down by the bucking of the movement.
They're probably used to you flying around the boat by now, so they're not too shocked by it. But he says, "Are you able to? Can you come down here and hold this this wound? I've got this tourniquet going. Can you hold on to this for me?" And he's just trying to get some help from you.
Yeah, I'll give him a hand.
You have you said you have first aid?
Yeah, just one rank.
Go ahead and roll it.
And I'm a little distracted right now. I think I'll slap a stim patch on myself before I attempt any of this, because I'm a little out of it.
Don't forget that stim patch is going to come back with an extra stun.
Yeah, I'll deal with that then.
Famous last words.
Okay, so I'm only down to 6 dice. But I'm going to use my med kit and have that help. And I've got 3 hits.
Nice, not bad. You're able to help him definitely, and his tourniquet was not working quite well. You noticed, and you with the help of the med kit, you follow some diagrams on there.
No! Use the anticoagulants!
The anti what? The anti what?
Here, you spray it on!
Oh, here! And he takes it from you, and he says, "Where do I spray it?"
It's right there where it's bleeding a bunch.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. And he sprays it on and adjusts the tourniquet with your help, and he says, "Man, thanks. I probably would have broken his leg or something, or maybe it would have had to be amputated or something. Thanks for your help."
Is he gonna be, should we strap him down or something?
Yeah, probably he needs to go below deck. He's not going to be of any use right now up here.
Alright, well, I've got my Force 6, or rather my Force 12, but 6 hits Magic Fingers spell going, so strength of 6. With that, I'm going to go ahead and drag him off to below deck. Alright, I'll take care of it.
Thanks. And he turns to any of you guys who's might be standing around, and he says, "God, that guy's quite a field medic."
Yeah, it seems so. Oh wait, was I supposed to sound impressed?
Are you
keep this
capable
boat
of
on the
sounding
water.
impressed?
By the way, payday's still on downers.
Sounds like it.
Never would have guessed.
All right. Well, like I said, you guys are going on. At one point, a big wave hits and causes some mechanical damage. You could help with that, Payday. People are scrambling to try to repair part of the boat.
All right, as soon as I see it take damage, I realize that this is really the essence of why I'm here. And I will, literally, snatch tools out of people's hands and get to work.
When you do, there's somebody down, you heard some ruckus down below deck. 1 or 2 people ran down there, screaming something about a leak, and you would have followed them, and when you snatch something out of somebody's hand, he jerks to you and says, "What are you doing? I'm trying to repair this. If we don't go, this whole ship's going down."
I'm busy being better than you.
Who the heck who the frag you think you are?
And I get to work, and I actually start commanding him to do things.
Give me a, do you have a leadership skill?
Yeah, right.
Well, then give me a charisma.
I mean,
1 hit there. How do you like that?
Part of me wants to loom out of the shadows and just clobber this guy.
However, my nautical mechanic is very high.
Yeah, roll that at the same time.
That's 5 hits.
Yeah, so at first, you start telling him what to do, and he's turning red. He's fuming, and he's starting to tell you "You don't tell me what to do I'm a crew." And then he starts seeing that you're adjusting things and moving things and grabbing, patching whatever. I don't know how boats get fixed, but you're doing all this, and he's like, well, you do know what you're doing.
And yeah, I'm going to concentrate on keeping this boat on the water. Get that torch out, start patching holes.
On the other side from where you are right now is Leroy sitting, and what is Leroy doing down there right now?
Have I found the inflatable raft?
Yeah, you found it.
All right. I have gotten it out of the box. I'm basically carrying it around and ready to pull that ripcord for it to inflate mode.
By the way, I'm going to have Party Girl keep actually floating around Leroy specifically.
I don't know if that helps.
I'm below deck getting this guy situated. I'm going to take a moment to cook up a Force 2 heal preparation and just use it on him right away.
Okay. By this point, we're at a -4 background count.
Ouch.
Things are starting to get a little intense out there.
Never mind. He can have the heal spell when we get back into port. It'd be better to wait anyway. He's not going to bleed out on us right now, is he?
No, he's the spray and the tourniquet. He's pretty well and good. You did a good job.
Yeah, I'll wait till I can get him a heal spell under better conditions then.
He's very grateful, by the way, and seems to think you saved his life.
It's a little early for that.
Sit tight, unless you think there's something you can do in this condition.
All right. Well, as you guys get out further, the storm's getting really intense at this point, and you start hearing some yelling from the guy who's got the mana compass, and he's yelling something about it's coming, it's about to breach the surface.
Oh, I'm gonna run out on deck and levitate straight up as fast as I can.
What is?
The mana warp, it's coming up from the surface. I need back. He starts yelling into his his little walkie-talkie thing, and says, slow down, speed up, let's go port, all this kind of stuff, and giving directions to make sure that you're clear of it when it comes out of the water.
Yeah, I'm shooting up into the air as fast as I can with my spirit-aided levitate.
I want to go sit next to the guy in the hold that got hurt. I'm just gonna hold on tight to the inflatable raft, and I got you, man. Don't pass him the bottle. We're all gonna die.
he sees you pass him the bottle. And he says, "Oh, have you done this before? We're gonna die."
Oh yeah, this is bad.
Oh my God, this isn't how I wanted to go. How high is Elric going?
Well, I'm kind of. I'll look down below me as I fly up after a few seconds have gone by. But let's see, I should be able to go up 72 meters per combat turn, and I don't know how high this thing is going to come up. So I'm going to go ahead and fly as high as I possibly can until I see this thing start to level off and start going back down. If it looks like it's still flying up toward me, I'm going to just keep flying up for as long as I need to.
Yeah, well, it comes up, and it's decently large. It's at least as big as the ship, maybe 3 or 4 times as big, but it's not on the ship. And as it starts to come up, you see this is why they call it they were calling it a swell, I guess. The surface of the water first starts to swell up, and it's in this shape of a sphere, and it comes out of the water, and it's this sort of energy kind of sphere with you, almost like a glass sphere is what it looks like, but inside is all this swirling and pulsating light, like purple and blue and green crackling energy on the inside, and it's like nothing any of you have ever seen before. All of you can see it.
Well, I'm going to spare the concentration to sense this thing from the astral.
You are far enough away that you'll be able to see it, and it's just it's instantly majestic and awful in the most literal use of awe-inspiring, but terrifying as well. It's just the greatest, most incredible concentration of mana and magical energy that you've ever seen, and there's all these effects of spells that you recognize that shooting off inside of it and all around it and swirling and looping back underneath it, and it's just incredible.
I'm going to fly in a little bit closer so I can see what's happening, but I'm going to try to stay outside of what looks like the range of these emanations of magic.
Give me what would be your astral, I guess, what would we call it? Like a reaction and agility kind of roll.
I guess that would be, one of them would be the equivalent of, well, I'm not actually astrally projecting.
That's true. So that it wouldn't really apply. And let's just do a reaction times, just do a reaction roll.
1 hit.
Okay, that's fine. You're able to get yourself close enough to observe it, and it's just spells of all kinds. That's things that you've seen, things that you've used, things that you've heard of before, energies that come together that look like they're almost forming spirits, but then tearing apart, and it's just crazy. As long as you make sure not to get any closer, then which you might be suicidally curious in doing, but
No, I'm not suicidally curious. I will observe it for a bit and then kind of shake my head and zip back down over to where the guys with the mana compass and say, all right, there's the thing. What are we supposed to do now?
We just need to stay out of its way. That's as long as we can trail it, that'd be great. We're picking up stuff still as we're going behind it, but we just need to make sure, whatever you do, don't cast any more spells.
Right, I've got some stuff I'm holding up right now that I cast before. One of them is a fairly powerful magic finger spell, so if there's anything you need me to grab, let me know.
Yeah, I noticed you still got that going on. You must have some pretty powerful mojo there.
Yeah, well, I think that's about as powerful as I'm capable of pulling off right now. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much the level of power that I've been advised very sternly by any of my mentors that it would be completely crazy of me to attempt. But hey, look at where I am, right?
He laughs, understanding the joke, or, maybe not joke, but seeing the humor in it.
Anyway, my background count will shred spells unless the force is high enough.
And then as you're talking about that, a big wave hits the ship, and it just lurches. And Elric isn't affected by this, but everybody who's on the boat is going to need to make a reaction plus... what is it? Reaction plus intuition.
Even those of us that are down in the bottom.
Yep, everybody. It's just because the boat is just lurching.
2 hits from Payday.
Same.
0.
I got 2 hits as well.
All right, everybody is fine except Leroy underneath the boat. Fortunately, he's below deck, so he's not at risk of falling off the boat.
You're crazy.
But you are going to have to resist 4 stun as he falls, stumbles, and rolls and hits one of the bulkheads on the side of the underside of the boat.
Sufficiently good.
All right, the guy who's under there with you, recovering, he was secured pretty well, but he yells over and says, "Are you okay? Oh my God, what the frag was that?"
I'm currently crawling around on hands and knees trying to chase down the bottle that is rolling around.
Payday growls over the radio to all the other runners. Have we got what we're looking for yet? This hull has seen better days.
No, we're gonna be following this thing. We're gonna chase it and then ride in its wake and gather up the stuff behind it.
Well, let's hurry up and gather.
Thankfully, you can't see my face because it just went super white.
Yeah, it's basically like the old whale hunts where you harpoon the whale and then you got to ride it until it gets tired. It's kind of like that.
No, we are not harpooning a single whale. What is wrong with you?
No, it was an analogy.
No.
We're not harpooning any whales, obviously.
She just stick her finger. No whales.
No, it's like the storm is a whale.
A storm can't be a whale. That makes no sense.
Well, then use some other analogy to think of it. It doesn't matter.
It's at this point, those of you who are above deck notice that some of the crew members are rushing over to the side of the boat, and you hear somebody yell, "Man overboard!"
Oh, well, that's
Wreck.
inconvenient.
And somebody's trying to scramble for turning a spotlight into the water. They can't see, and somebody's holding a life preserver on a rope and trying to find out where the guy is. And you can see him. If you look, you can see there's a guy out in the distance, and he's from the lurching of the boat. He's fallen overboard. And
Oh, Wada will jump in.
Can I see him?
yeah, you can. Well, actually, you're gonna have to give me a perception with some pretty decent modifiers. Hold on.
Well, I'm astrally perceiving.
I'm gonna sit down here in my hold with my buddy, just get in real close to him, like he's sitting on my right. I got the safety wrapped on my left. I'm like, that could have been either one of us.
It's going to be a perception test, but yeah, there's a -6 dice pool modifier, and it's going to be for in and out of astral because of, magic.
No, I don't see a damn thing. I was going to try to...
Throwback got a single hit, so I'll start pointing them out if I can see the blip floating in the water.
Yeah,
I
and
can't see anything.
And Wada's already in the water, right?
Yeah, I'm sort of trying to direct Wada, I guess, if I can see him floating in the water.
Wada's in the water.
It's bound to happen.
I get the feeling that's why her name's Wada.
Can't get anything past you.
Keen eyes. Okay. Give me a swimming test. These are some pretty rough waters, so basically anything that you guys are doing out here above deck and in the water, especially in the water, in the storm, is going to be -6.
Wee.
Payday's
3 hits.
Payday's going to bring Party Girl under the down under the deck at this point.
All right. Well, you're able to. You're going to be able to get to that guy, but I want you to tell me. Give me a description of. I mean, you're in the middle of a storm in the ocean. Water is surging. So, what's Wada doing right now?
Oh, she's just swimming like a champion. Water's my element, and her eyes they got that little nictating membrane going back and forth, so it doesn't bother her. And she's just swimming as hard as she can to get to the guy. Probably smiling somewhat, other than the dire situation.
You guys see her like body on the top of these swells that are going up and down, and I'd imagine it's pretty impressive as she just, without hesitation, jumps in the water and starts swimming straight towards the guy. And somebody, while you're out there, has thrown the life preserver out, and it's ahead of Wada. Is she going to grab that on the way, or is she going to handle this on her own?
Oh, she'll grab that.
Okay. And you're able to get out to this guy. He's barely, got his head above the water, and he's gulping seawater as he's trying to stay up and spitting, and he's like, help.
Oh, don't spit on me. Hold on. Stop struggling.
Yeah, he's panicking pretty well. Do you want to try to calm him down?
I will. I'll give a leadership to him.
Yeah, do it.
Well, come on. Calm down. Why is it so loud out here? I can't have discussion. Blast water.
One hit'll do it. He manages to understand that he needs to grab onto this life preserver in the midst of this panic of his. There's a mana swell, maybe 100 meters away, and he fell off a boat in the middle of a storm, and magical energy swirling all around. So he's got pretty good reason to be panicking.
Now that I see the guys grabbed onto the life preserver, and I can notice that, I imagine, since I've been following this.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
going to lend my strength with the magic finger spell to help pull him in. It's probably not enough by itself, but any assistance I can give our person who's swimming in the stormy ocean like a crazy person.
Sure. What's Wada's body?
My body is a 3, and I just noticed that I'm wearing still my Synergist business line coat, so I'm gonna pull that off and drop it in the water to make swimming easier.
Oh no, you're gonna lose this suit?
I know. No, not the whole suit, just the long coat.
Aw.
Otherwise, my mustard yellow suit is going to be drenched. I don't know if I could find a dry cleaner this well, but I'm not thinking about that. Swimming.
All right. Well, you're assisted. You feel your body being you and your like the life preserver being grabbed and moved along. It's almost being steadied, in the water.
Oh yeah, so free of my coat, I will keep an arm on the preserver and tell him to hold on, and I will just start using the other one to try to paddle back toward the boat. And we're using the fingers to help move myself.
All right, well, you guys are able to make it back to the boat and rescued a crew member. That's good. As you're able to get back on the boat, by then, if you were to look back at the mana swell or the mana warp, you see it begins to dissipate and crackle and eventually it shrinks and blinks out of existence. It's not there anymore.
Is it over?
Wow.
Elric, if he's still astrally perceiving, he sees he sees things are slowly still moving around where it was and flying in and out, and then they start to like pop out of existence slowly and disappear, and there's still a little remnants of the background count, but it's the swell itself, the warp is gone. And people are still out there like frantically hauling stuff up, filling up big barrels of water that presumably would be have been saturated with magical energies. There's people sifting through and filtering through some of this stuff to pull out, like sea life and objects and just various different things and start putting them in different barrels and get them everybody's moving very quickly. Those who are still, able to do anything.
I will give them a hand using my magic fingers to scoop things out of the water. I'll try to spot things myself that seem to be significant using my astral perception, or if anyone points out that, hey, grab that thing, I'll help them out with that.
Captain Calabash comes over and he's overseeing the whole thing, and he says, "Well, looks like we made it through. You guys did some good work out there." And he looks at Wada and says, "And that was some quick thinking. You saved one of my crew. I don't know if I can ever really repay you for that."
Oh, like the $2,000 I spent on a long coat would be a start.
He laughs, thinking it's a joke.
Oh.
He says, "I have to say, though, disappointed my old nemesis, Abraham Lincoln, didn't show up."
Yeah, me too. I really wanted to meet the guy.
I look around cautiously for signs of Abraham Lincoln showing up.
Just a top hat floating in the water.
Just then.
I didn't see any spirits or anything. I mean, there were some things in there, but I don't think they ever got a chance to form any cohesive status.
"Well, that's thanks to old Phineas here," and he slaps the guy on the back who was holding the compass. "He kept us out of harm's way the best way he could with that old contraption of his."
And under the deck, Payday will finish up what he was doing and pat the mechanic that was working down here with him on the back.
He's like, "Yeah, I got this.
Did.
I got the rest. I can keep these bilge pumps going to make sure this water gets on out of here."
Yeah, good work.
We're taking on water.
Yeah, you must not have been taking a look over here. We've taken on quite a bit of water.
I look down at the puddle that's slowly approaching me, and I kind of scoot back from it, drag my probably half-drunk friend with me.
He says, "If it weren't for your friend Payday here, this ship might not have made it. I don't think anybody really realized how close we were to actually, sinking and drowning."
I'm pretty sure at one point the entire ship was completely underwater for several seconds.
No doubt, with those big swells.
Again, thank God for the mask, as the, just knuckles get white and just everything kind of tenses up.
Yeah, Leroy should probably give me a body plus willpower test to resist vomiting.
I mean, that sucks.
The water's still pretty rough right now too.
I got 2 hits.
All right, you're good, but you're feeling it,
Are you okay, Leroy? Your aura is looking a little yellowish green.
So it's just like you can buy 2 hits, I'm sure. There is a irrational fear somewhere in there, whatever color that is, and maybe a little seasickness.
Hey, out of character, real fast. Cassie, did you ever change your push to talk button?
Yeah, Todd just told me, sorry.
No problem. All right, game on. Back in character. Game on.
Payday's going back up above the deck with Party Girl.
What's the matter, Leroy? It's fine. It's over now.
We almost died. I kind of elbowed my friend to tell him we almost died.
He says, "Yeah. I mean, that's what you said. We almost died."
We could have been one of those guys that went overboard. Then what would have happened?
Oh my God! I can't believe you're right. We could have been overboard.
It had been all downhill from there. The waves everywhere, just crashing over us, and his eyes are getting wider and wider. It's just.
Elric just sort of looks at him and kind of smiles a little bit. Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it?
He's gonna, seasick, bad sea legs, get to his feet and kind of walk over towards you to grab you by the that thing where they kind of grab people by the scruff of the shirt, your lapels. That's the word. We almost died. You can totally smell alcohol in his breath too. Let's not forget that, and a good amount.
Relax. It wasn't anywhere near as hairy as the time we dealt with all those guys in the middle of the woods. That was way more dangerous than this. Well, okay, if the boat would have gone into the mana swell, then we all would have died.
I just turn from you and vomit.
Oh, okay then. Just let me see if I can get you a soda or something.
I hope you took your mask off first.
I was looking at it. I actually have a helmet, not a mask, so I imagine it's like one of those motorcycle helmets that come around by your mouth, and he's probably just been lifting it up and down a bunch to continue to drink alcohol.
Yeah, Elric's going to wander off away from Leroy for now.
Because the helmet has a gas mask built into it, so that's an hour of air. So that's he doesn't have any scuba gear, man. I got to make do.
Yeah, I was disturbed when I looked at my sheet and I saw that I only have a respirator and not a gas mask. So yeah, that didn't let you breathe when you're underwater.
I mean, you just breathe water. I'm sure it's fine.
Like in the Star Wars prequels.
We don't talk about those. Like in Batman.
So yeah, that's what I hear with my crack-brained plan of doing Force 12 spells.
Are you letting those spells go?
No, we're not back away towards the land yet.
Yeah, and the ship has turned around by now, and people are getting everything settled, and you're heading out of the background count is going down and down and down, and you guys are headed back to where you started from in Charleston Harbor.
Yep, I'm gonna keep the spells on this whole time. I'll let the Zen lapse. I won't take more Zen to keep that going. But the Psyche should last me quite some time.
I mean, that was hairy and all, but that's not bad for the payday that we got.
Just as you say that, everybody give me a perception test. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Now, this show would not be possible without the generous support of our patrons over at Patreon. So if you like the show and you want to help support it, then head on over to patreon.com/complexaction. Supporting can get you access to GM notes that get dropped every month, and also the chance to get selected to join us as a guest on our cast party episodes, which has been really, really fun. So if you want to come on and you want to help support us, then that's patreon.com/complexaction to help us out. The character art seen on our YouTube page and various social media places was done by Ethan Brewerton. Check out his awesome Shadowrun artwork at esbrewerton.com. The background music in this episode is brought to you by Prism Shard. To hear more of his Shadowrun-inspired music, head on over to soundcloud.com/prism-shard and give him some love. The Topps Company Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sounds, audio, video, and or any proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company Inc. has granted permission to Complex Action to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its websites, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with Complex Action in any official capacity whatsoever.